This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone had an enjoyable, meaningful day. So I saved the best stuff for last. Certain things I had a reason why I didn't want to mention specifically at the kever. One of them was the following episode. This is recorded actually in Shal Shuvas Tzitz Eliezer, Chelek Yud Siman Aleph Ois Beis, and Rabbi Ovadia Yosef in Chelek Hesim and Chav Zayin discusses the time that Sir Moses Montefiore was put in Cherem. And as we know, he loved Eretz Yisrael, he loved Yerushalayim, and on one occasion he actually went up to the Har Habayis. Now this is something that there's a lot of misconception about it. Can you go to the Har Habayis? Is it a chumrah? You're not allowed to go to the Har Habayis. It's an Isser Kares according to the Rambam. The Rosh agrees it's also an Isser Kares. The Ravid is misunderstood. The Ravid holds it's not an Isser Kares, but it's still an Isser Doiraisa. Other Rishonim are more lenient. There was a custom before the Rambam was codified that some people used to go. But Moses Montefiore did go to the Har Habayis, and when he went, the Rabbanim of Yerushalayim found out about him. Rav Shmuel Salant was very upset at Moses Montefiore because all the Chachamim told him not to go. And there was a Rav, the son of the Nesivos HaMishpat, Rav Yosef Moshe of Lisa, who put Moses Montefiore in Cherem. He blew the shofar, and he put Moses Montefiore in Cherem. And Moses Montefiore was really upset because he didn't know you're not allowed to go. You see, as we mentioned before, as great of a philanthropist as he was, but his in-depth knowledge was not first-hand. And he thought that the reason people don't go to the Har Habayis is because the Arabs don't let them go to the Har Habayis. In fact, in the Kovetz called Shari Yerushalayim, he brings that Moses Montefiore was the first Jew from the time of the Churban Bayis to actually go to the Har Habayis. So Moses Montefiore thought the reason he's not allowed to go is because legally he's not allowed to go. So what did he do? He paid off everybody, and they said, okay, you could go. Right? So he thought that if he pays off the right people, he'll get in. And they said, sure, you could go. We only meant Jewish people who don't pay us can't go to the Har Habayis. So he figured he's allowed to go. He didn't realize that it's halachically forbidden to go. And he came to Shmuel Salant with such charata and regret, and he was crying. He said, I sincerely didn't want to go. And they basically, Rav Shmuel Salant and Rav Meir Auerbach and Rabbina told him, don't pay attention to the rabbis that are angry at you, don't pay attention to the rabbis who put you in Cherem, don't pay attention to the Baal Nasivos, the son. His Cherem is Kechermoi Shal Yam, Yam standing for Yosef Moshe, meaning he's just a kanoi. Now, comes in Ovadia Yosef in a tshuva, and he says, don't think because the rabbis didn't put him in Cherem, they didn't think he was wrong. They thought he was wrong. They held he did an Isser Doiraisa. And Rabbi Ovadia explains 3 reasons, though, why he wasn't put in Cherem. Number 1, says Rabbi Ovadia, because if someone does an Avera b'shoigeg, they don't get put in Cherem. And oimer mutter is like a shoigeg. Someone who thinks it's permitted is like a shoigeg. And Moses Montefiore was oimer mutter. He thought, based on Shitas HaRavid, there's a kula. Number 2, this is interesting. The Gemara in Psachim, remember Nun Gimel Amud Beis, there's a man by the name of Toidos Ish Roimi. And they wanted to put him in Cherem, and they didn't because he supported Talmidei Chachamim. Says Rav Ovadia, from here we see that sometimes even if someone deserves to be put in Cherem, we will spare them the embarrassment if their financial assistance is needed. Is there anyone greater who supported the community and Talmidei Chacham more than Moses Montefiore? And therefore that alone would be a reason why he deserved not to be put in Cherem. Then Rabbi Ovadia offers a third possibility, that in deference to the Shita of the Ravid, who holds that it's not an Isser Kares, we don't have to put Moses Montefiore in Cherem. Rabbi Ovadia prefers to say like his first approach, namely that he was a shoigeg, he was a oimer muter, and therefore he did not deserve to be put in Cherem. However, Rabbi Ovadia says, I remember in my youth Someone read me a book that Moses Montefiore never really went on the Harabayas. He was carried in a chair over the Harabayas. And even though we say that the Ritzpah Ad HaTahoim is Noigev Kedusha Ad HaTahoim, but the Avir over the Harabayas is not Oila Lamala L'Rakia, and therefore since he was carried by Goyim it was permitted. And Halacha L'Maisa would come out then if you want to take a helicopter ride over the Harabayas, it would be permitted. And that's the interesting saga of Moses Montefiore's trip to the Harabayas. And ultimately, the Chachamim were not happy with him, they were not pleased with him, but he was able to escape the Cherem. Legend has it that the next Shabbos, he davened in the old city and he made a Misha Berach for all the Rabbanim who put him in Cherem, which shows his great personality, that he didn't bear a grudge, and shows his humility. And in one moment, we're going to hear the grand finale story.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.